What's good, everybody? It is Wednesday, March 16th. Welcome into your daily sports betting brand of record. We call it the Early Edge, powered as always by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all of sports betting, and it's not close. Now, not a horrible day at the brand, but not a good day either. We are transparent as they get 3 and 5 on our straight picks because for the first time all year, Man U couldn't score at Atletico. Everybody, as Martin Green likes to say, scores as Atletico Madrid. I hate those X's in soccer, but they are rare because my guys are amazing. Let's get rid of that and let's bring in the stars of the show. Now, once again yesterday, we're setting records, and you three are a big part of it. The all-time high live viewership, or on demand, is off the charts, but live. Thank you all for tuning in. And let's start with our favorite member of the crew from across the pond, just south of London, England. Ladies and gentlemen, the guru, Martin W. Green.
Good morning, Coach. I made it on time today. I figured out the clock changing. Apparently, the government said there's not going to be any more clock changes, so I think they must have been listening to the Early Edge yesterday. I didn't know but the Early Edge has fans in all places. Yeah, those two X's, just looking at that on the screen just makes me feel physically sick. So I'm hoping that we can turn things around and get some winners today.
I have no doubt about it. By the way, that daylight savings thing that broke yesterday, that's a big deal here in the United States for sports. It really, really is. People joke about it, but it really is for golf and a lot of outdoor sports. It's a big, big deal. Now, he is the mentee to the mentor. We call him Buckets. Just don't call him late for dinner. Buckets, good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I am beyond ecstatic that I did not make some dumb Twitter bet about Toulouse scoring 6 goals yesterday because I could not have dealt with a second tattoo of a different team that I just know nothing about. But glad to be here.
I actually thought about that as I was actually, after they scored the 2 goals, I got in my car and I drove to CVS. And I thought to myself, what if Buckets had made a dumb Twitter statement and said, oh, if Toulouse scores 6 goals, we would have had one on either arm or wherever Mama Bucket wants it. Now, live from Las Vegas. Now, one of those check marks, I like to call him the quiet assassin. We call him Zach Attack. Zach Simony, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Oh, Texas Southern. I was about to be physically sick as well with Martin. They were down 13-5. They couldn't shoot the basketball, but these teams adjust quicker in the tournament. They have that higher sense of urgency. Texas Southern's been there before. And even though it was still agonizing, it seemed like they were at the number the entire game. Texas A&M Corpus Christi made a couple of pushes, even built the lead. I think with under 7 to go, they were up by 4. But Texas Southern, they clamped down, and they finished that final 5.
Yeah, it was a nice cash to have for the show last night. Now, Zach is one of our best college basketball cappers on the crew. But how good are you? Do you think you can beat Zach? You think you can beat me? Maestro, Chip, you think you can beat any of us? Well, we want you to be a part of the biggest early edge March Madness bracket we've ever done. Already 4 times the amount of people signed up as we had last year. You can win a $100 Paramount Plus gift card. And if I know AB, Noah, and the bosses, we're going to come up with a little something else to give away too. Also, there are different options when it comes to the bracket. We want you to check out our upset bracket. Last year, it successfully nailed Rutgers over Clemson, Syracuse over San Diego State. It beat over 92% of all CBS Sports bracket players. You can find expert, optimal, and upset brackets at sportsline.com/brackets. Do not Google /buckets because that may take you to a place you don't want to go, if you know what I mean. All right, let's get it. Martin, you're killing him.
Martin's writing down the link there.
All right, let's get into it.
I didn't need to see that. It's too early in the day for that.
That's hilarious. All right, let's get into it. Storylines that could affect the betting lines today. And Martin, I've told you almost monthly since you talked me in to the futures Juventus bet 7 months ago. It's been sitting in my account like a blinking red light every single day. But I'm not worried about that today. I'm worried about that team, but they've got a whole lot of cheddar on the line. Start us off.
Well, indeed, coach, but they're actually only 7 points behind league leaders AC Milan now. They're the form team in Serie A. There's still an outside chance that bet that you place could pay off. If only the season had started 3 or 4 weeks later, they'd be right in the
Yeah.
They're still in with a chance, though. They have been terrific. They haven't lost a single game in 90 minutes since November. This Juventus team is on fire, but this is a really, really big game for them. It's $100 million game. La Gazzetta dello Sport reports that victory could be worth 90 million euros to the Bianconeri, which equates to around $100 million. That includes the prize money, ticket sales, and TV revenue for qualifying for the next round. And the club is battling a post-COVID financial slump, so it really needs the money. Can the players deliver? It's 1-1 after the first leg, delicately poised. Juventus had a lot of injured players in that first leg, but they're back now. And it's Villarreal that are sweating on the fitness of several crucial players. So the ball is really in Juventus's court for this one. They're plus money to win it, but this is a game they really should be winning. And we'll break that one down later in the show.
Oh, man. This is the one thing I love about international soccer, because we don't talk about this kind of stuff in the NFL or Major League Baseball, that if this team wins today, this is how much they could bring into their franchise. It's a really cool deal, especially when all leagues are based on money. Get back to that in a second. Now, the other Champions League game, and you heard Martin mention Chelsea. Chelsea. Buckets, you're up.
Coach, we've seen the world reigning and European reigning champions Chelsea a lot in the news recently, and a big part of this is due to complications with their owner, Roman Abramovich. He has involvement with a majority of different Russian companies, and we've seen a lot of sanctions come down against him by the UK government, but also the Chelsea organization as a whole. Chelsea is currently under restrictions where they are not allowed to sell tickets, they're not allowed to sell merchandise, they're not allowed to talk about transfer or trades for players. And we're seeing the fatigue kind of set in against this Chelsea organization that really has a lot to fight for in these next couple weeks. Not only does Chelsea have their Champions League game today, but they also have their FA Cup quarter-final match against Middlesbrough at the end of this week, to which, again, they will not be allowed to have fans there, which does affect every sport, but at soccer especially, that presence of having your supporters behind you gives you a lot to fight for. So we're going to talk about more later in the show, whether Chelsea will have the motivation to keep things together moving forward.
Yeah, there's no question that the energy comes down a great deal when you have no fans in the stands. And I got to tell you, when people think that the war in Ukraine doesn't affect all different walks of life, we're talking about it right here on the early edge. It is touching every single part of life, but certainly none more important, than the human life that is being lost over there. So we'll get back to that soccer pick in a second. Thank you for that storyline. Now, the March Madness tournament, unofficially, because you don't have to put those games into your bracket, last night in Dayton. And watching Wyoming, Zach, try to score and get under that +4 was like watching a tooth extraction. Just never could quite get it. But that's a great site for the play-in games. But let's talk about the actual tournament. What do you got?
Yeah, this tournament, there's so many different sites. And with this transfer portal, there's going to be a few players that are going to play at these sites that have played at the former college. I'm going to talk about Marcus Shaver Jr. of Boise State. He's been there for 2 years, but his freshman and sophomore seasons, he was in the lower level conference playing the WCC for the Portland Pilots. I looked up Boise State's first round matchup against Memphis. Very odd start time, the third game to start the day, 10:45 Pacific Standard Time, but it is being played at Portland, though they've been there a little bit earlier than Indiana, or they've been there a little bit earlier than Memphis. You've got to believe that he is getting the team used to that routine. He's back to where he's had his breakfast and lunches a few years ago. He's probably shot at that gym, even though it's not at their college. The old College of Portland is just a mile away in the Mata Center.
Now, I got to tell you, I played college basketball, as many of you know. I've mentioned it here on the show before. Only a couple of times did I have to play a game prior to noon or prior to 11? It throws off your complete game because you got to eat your breakfast like exactly 4 hours before the game. At least that's what our coaching staff and fitness people did. Eating at 6:45 in the morning is not something an athlete wants to do. but we'll keep our eye on that. I love when you find those little nuggets for the show. They're awesome.
He is one of the best clutch players in college basketball. He's had about 5-6 game winners this year.
All right, we'll keep that in mind because all these tournament games, they tend to be close. All right, let's get into our board for today. And certainly, we call it Bounce Back Wednesday after a 3-5 day yesterday. Oh, today, we're going to knock it out of the park. We're going to do 2 games from SportsLine. And by the way, if you're not a SportsLine member yet, what in the world are you doing? This is the time. You've never needed more information than you do right now. I've got the best cappers in the world. You can get them all, including all 3 that you see on the show today for one very, very low price. $10 a month? I can't do any better than that. All right, 2 big plays today. The 6:40 game tonight, Bryant and Wright State. Yes, Wright State is very, very close to Dayton. They will have the home court advantage. However, they are 8-11 against the spread this season in road or neutral site games. Take Bryant plus the 3. Then in the late game at 9:10 p.m. Eastern, yes, the machine brings it strong today. This from Jay Smooth, Rutgers plus the 1. If you haven't seen Rutgers play this year in the Big Ten, they are scrappy. They are tough. They took some of the best teams in the country right to the brink at home. But we believe tonight on the road in this environment, and Notre Dame just played a very listless game in the ACC tournament. Rutgers is the play. We'll take the 1, and we'll take it all the way to the bank. All right. Now, my 2 soccer cappers are like rabid dogs. When they have a bad game, you back them into a corner, they come out fighting. So today I had to think long and hard, but I want to switch it up just a little bit. Change our mojo. So buckets, with a little trepidation, I'm going to give you the coveted first spot of the day. The floor is yours.
Let's do it. We are going to jump right back into that Lille-Chelsea matchup that we talked about earlier. Lille has been struggling in France's Ligue 1 and are going into this second match against Chelsea down 2-0 in aggregate scoring already. We talked about already, Chelsea has a lot of problems outside the pitch, but on the pitch, Thomas Tuchel has done a phenomenal job of keeping his squad focused and moving forward. On the back of arguably the best goalie in the world right now, Edouard Mendy, Chelsea is doing a great job of just shutting teams down. On top of having an FA Cup game here in 3 days, Chelsea really doesn't have a ton of reason to score here. So I'm actually breaking a Bucket John golden rule here, and I'm taking an under, which I feel sick saying, but I'm taking under 2.5 goals match total here. And I love that bet, and that makes me sad, but I love the under here in Chelsea versus.
Okay. Continue. I'm just my head is just spinning right now. I don't even know what. No, continue. I'll talk in a second.
I had to look in the mirror this morning and practice saying under without throwing up because I was that nervous about saying it. Our second match, we're going to be going outside of Champions League, but staying in the English Premier League still. We've got Brighton versus Tottenham. We have Brighton, who is hosting, but is one of the 2 teams in all of EPL right now to have lost their last 5 matches in a row. The only company joining them is Norwich City, so not the best crowd to have around you. They have been conceding constantly, and they have been struggling to get any momentum moving forward. They'll be hosting a Tottenham score that under Conte's direction has been very hit or miss, very feast or famine, but as of late has done an incredible job scoring. They have scored 15 times in their last 5 matches, including wins of 5-0 against Leeds, 4-0 against Everton, and a 3-2 victory against Man City just a couple weeks ago. Tottenham has 2 games in hand currently and has all the motivation in the world to go for wins here today. So we're taking Tottenham over 1.5 goals at an incredible plus 125 here on this matchup.
I was just imagining in my head you in the mirror this morning going, under. But you make a lot of sense. Up 2 goals, they have nothing to do but just hold the ball, which they're really, really good at, and their defense is really good. So I can't believe I'm saying this. I really like that pick. Once you explain it. That's why you can't just watch the recap page on the show. You got to watch this live. All right. Now, I've got my bearings back with me. Now, I tell you what, this Juventus bet, it's haunting me. It's haunting me. But we can get it all back today with a W. Martin W. Green, Guru, you're up next.
There's still time, coach. There's still. I feel like they're going to make a late push and go and it's all of their rivals jumping up and down with joy. It's going to be a beautiful sight. Maybe you should get a tattoo of Juventus if that ever happens.
Hey! Real quick, bring us back on, AB. You know what? You just bring up a very good point because I have on this arm my kids. It's a long sleeve shirt. I can't pull it up. Well, maybe I can. Yeah, there we go. All right. So my kids, don't look at the tricep. My kids' tattoo. Okay. I will get.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I will get an Juventus tattoo if they come back and win the league title. Not tie for the league title, win it outright. I will get an Juventus tattoo. And wherever Mama Buckets tells me she wants me to get it. So with that being said, oh my God. And I can say that because I know my mother does not watch this show. My mom does not watch The Early Edge. Oh my God, what did I just do? I'm going to blame you, Buckets. I mean, every step of the way, I'm blaming you if this happens. All right, sorry for ruining your flow, Martin. Continue, please.
No, that's all good. They're only 7 points behind. There's 9 games left to play for. You guys heard it here first. Coach is getting Juventus tattoo. It's going to be beautiful. This is tonight. They're playing against Villarreal. This isn't going to be an easy game for Juventus. I admit that. Villarreal is a tough nut to crack. It proved that by beating Arsenal and Manchester United in the Europa League last season. It got a draw with Juventus in the first leg. This is a difficult game for Juventus. However, as I just mentioned, they're unbeaten since November. They're playing with a great deal of confidence right now. They're strong at home, and Villarreal have not travelled well this season. It could be tight, but odds of plus 105 on a home win for Juventus looks really good to me. Sometimes Villarreal nick a draw here and there, so you might want to hedge and do a little stake on the draw too. But I'm going for a home win for Juventus at plus 105. I'm leaving the other Champions League game alone. Buckets has taken care of that one. And I'm going over to the Bundesliga, where Mainz are playing against Borussia Dortmund. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals has paid off in the last 2 meetings between Mainz and Dortmund. It finished 3-1 to Dortmund earlier this season, and they also won 3-1 against Mainz in May last year. Bit of a stat attack here. Both teams to score have played off in 19 of Dortmund's 25 games so far this season, and their matches average a league high 4.08 goals. They're terrific in attack and woeful in defence. Mainz, they're a more conservative team with just 2.67 goals per game. However, they're coming off a 3-2 win against Bayer Leverkusen and a 3-1 win against Union Berlin. So the goals are flying in Mainz games too. Both teams to score has paid off in their last 3 matches. So I'm going for both teams to score over 2.5 goals at minus 120. Let's hope to get some big, juicy green ticks on that screen tomorrow.
You know, Martin, I need to apologize on behalf of Buckets because you're trying to give us this very serious take. People are putting real, and he's over here just laughing at you. It's so rude.
Buckets.
Oh, buckets. All right. So, Martin, again, my apologies. But we got the plays in. Hey, he's still learning. All right. Now, I seriously doubt that my main man who is in the maestro spot this morning is going to get a St. Mary's tattoo. However, I mean, we can throw it out there. Zach Attack, you know you're in this spot for a reason because you are a savage in college hoops. What do you got for us today?
All right, I'm hoping for a little deja vu here, Coach. I've got the same point spread as yesterday, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to purchase that half point. So St. Mary's minus 3.5. We're going to buy that half point to -3 against Indiana. Who is St. Mary's? They are Wyoming with better offense. You're not going to see back down dribbling from a point guard like Hunter Maldonado. You're going to see Tommy Kuntz, a 6th-year senior. That's right, a 6th-year senior. He's been at St. Mary's since 2016. I'm almost certain he's the most experienced player in this tournament. From a defensive standpoint, they give up just 60 points per game. That is 6th best among teams in this tournament. I think you look at Indiana's win over Wyoming and you ask yourself, Why didn't they win by 20-plus points? That's just their nature. They don't pull away from teams. They struggle to play for 40 minutes in a complete game. And then you look at their travels. They were comfortable playing in yesterday's playing game in Dayton, Ohio. Now they have to get down that plane really quickly, fly to the West Coast. We just mentioned it. This is another matchup in Portland where St. Mary's is very familiar with, as well as they play in the WCC conference. And they played, I think, in February against the Portland Pilots. So I'm going to lay it here. This small number, St. Mary's, they never win pretty, except that Gonzaga game. But they never win pretty, but we'll play it. We'll play it -3.
You know, Tommy Kuhn should really give buckets a call. If anybody knows about taking 6 years to get through college, it would be our guy sitting up there in the right-hand corner.
Whoa! I need to say this. I'll have you know that I didn't finish college, Coach. So who wins? Who wins that fight?
A hell of a thing to brag about, Buckets. A hell of a thing to brag.
There you go.
Yeah.
I dropped out.
Yeah. Yay me. Yay me. First time in the history of shows that somebody bragged about not finishing college. Oh my gosh, we're just making history here on the show. I can just see the headlines. Early Edge brags about dropping out of school. AB, show your face. Show your face. Because look at that big old goofy smile. Look at you. You've upgraded. I think you're – did you get a new place on the 4th floor now? Or what's going on?
Yeah, we did. You know, we've been mopping the floor so well. Management was really proud of our efforts. So, yeah, we're moving on up. Our key card's getting access over here.
Still doesn't get you an M Squared's apartment, but hey, we're getting there.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to take decades. You know.
Now, last night we hit the 2 of the first 3 legs of the AB3, and then the Buffaloes decided I'm not very motivated to beat St. Bonaventure at home. But today, what's the thinking today of going right back to that NIT?
Yeah, so you know what? We're going to stick with the plan, right? Like the plan worked. Colorado just blew it off, right? I mean, they had a lead. That should have been a game that they had, but Vanderbilt came through for us easily in the second half. Same thing with Oklahoma. So we're going to go the exact same way, right? Like we're going to go St. Louis on the money line. We're going to go Wake Forest on the money line and Virginia on the money line. We're going to stick with the plan. The plan works. We're not going to let one bad Colorado loss take us out of what the plan's been all along. So, yeah, we're sticking with it.
And if you're sitting there right now going, what's he talking about Oklahoma? What's he talking about Vanderbilt? SportsLine members know what he's talking about. SportsLine members got the breakdown. SportsLine members got the plays. There's so many more plays at SportsLine than right here on the show. We're just a catalyst. We're just getting people there. But you got to be a member to get all the plays. All right, AB.
Well, and one thing before I go,
Sure.
thing, Coach, speaking about the plays, you nailed it yesterday, right? Like in the Battle of Nashville, Belmont and Vanderbilt, those two teams, they could walk to each other's campuses. Well, you said it best. Belmont would be taking over, and they'd be walking on back, and that's exactly what they did. So, great job.
Well, what a shock. What a shock. Me being right. Just me being right. I don't even know. All right. What a fun time today. All right, grab your paper. Grab your pencil. Here is the recap, courtesy of AB on the 1s and the 2s, and it looks absolutely glorious. The Guru, he's on Juventus, and I'm backing him 1,000% just for today. Moneyline plus 105. Then how about both teams to score an over 2.5? He has really taught us over the last several months that this is a great way to bring the number down to where you can play it. Just put those two together, minus 120. Then buckets. For the first time ever in his early Edge career, he's going against the grain. Lille, Chelsea, under 2.5 goals, but you heard the explanation. They're already up 2-0 in aggregate. That is so important, and that's why if you're not familiar with soccer betting, follow my guys on Twitter. They will lead you through the muck and the mud. Then Tottenham, they've got a lot of motivation, and they have a good offense. Let's go over team total, 1.5 goals plus 125. Then Zach Attack. He just continues to churn them out day after day after day. This game is on Thursday. Round 1, St. Mary's minus the 3, minus 125. Then today, 2 plays from SportsLine. We're going to go Bryant plus the 3, and then Rutgers plus the 1 over the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Then you heard Dial Up talk about it. We're going to stick with the process. A late-night game in Boulder is not going to deter us. Wake Forest, Virginia, St. Louis, all on the money line, giving us a nice little tasty return of plus 225. All right, real quick, our schedule this week. Turn on your notifications, follow our YouTube page, be a part of whatever bracket you want to be a part of. If you think you can beat us, if you think you can beat me. So we'll have our normal morning show at 10 a.m. on Thursday and Friday. Then at 1 p.m., AB and the boys will have a watch party all afternoon, cashing tickets, live plays, anything you want. Then at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on both Thursday and Friday, I will be back after I call the Valspar. We never stop grinding, and we'll go all the way through the evening games and do the exact same thing. There's only one brand you need to worry about, and right now there's only one thing left to do other than make my bed after I get done. And I believe you know what that is. You got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets. I'm fired up. Straight to the pay window for my entire crew. I love them all. Buckets, Guru, Zack Attack, and of course, AB, always getting it done. And the jeweler, he's always lurking as our executive producer of the brand. I am the coach. You want to have fun, be educated. You want to be entertained and be educated. I'm changing it up. It's all right here. We like to call it the early edge. Good luck.